I break those stereotypes and expectations that so many people put on sex workers, that it's very, even people who are supportive of sex workers, it's still so hard for them to actually like deal with it sometimes. Or so that's why it was one of the reasons I do it, because I'm like,
I mean, so I understand some of the reasons you do it.
Yeah.
And the upside. What are some of the downsides of what you do?
Of OnlyFans? So there are a lot that could be downsides for others that I don't think are necessarily downsides for me. So I have a lot of like younger girls that see what I'm doing and how much I'm making, and they're like, I want to be like you. I want to be like you. And I'm like, I don't think you're cut out for it. Like, you get a lot of hate, especially for someone like me who came from like the most respected profession.
You get a lot of hate
because of what I do.
Where on Reddit or?
Not Reddit, because everyone's on Reddit to look at porn, but like Instagram, anywhere where it's not for porn, I get a lot of hate.
Oh, I see.
A ton of hate. And I actually think I get more hate because of my story. That enrages people. Like, if I go on Instagram and I'm just like shaking my, I may get a few comments like, oh, what does society come to? Whatever. But if I go online and I'm like, hey guys, the reason I went from being a lawyer to this is because I didn't want to work. It enrages people that I had the background I did, and I'm a lawyer, and I had this well-respected profession, and I chose to do this. It pisses people off to no end.
Why do you think that is?
Because I'm embodied. So many of us live the lives we live because we feel like we're supposed to. And so not only am I challenging that, because it's like most people, if you don't, like, it's like the parts of life that most people don't like having a job, not having a 9 to 5. Like, I say that and they're like, you're the worst person ever. Life is all about working yourself to the bone. I'm like, you don't actually want to be doing that either. But you're seeing me have this opportunity to not do that by breaking a societal norm, by being an example of what it means to live life on my own terms and live a life conducive to my own happiness by stepping out of line. And that scares people. That makes people really uncomfortable. It makes people really uncomfortable when you almost, I want to say it's a social contract, but in a sense, it's like, okay, this is what happens. And people like to categorize people. And so you hear this a lot. Oh, sex workers, they're all abused. They're all damaged. They all have, so I get all the time, even sometimes people that are just curious. Hey, you're really smart. Why do you do this? Like, it's like, this is seen constantly as a last resort. And for a lot of women, it is. But for me, it was a first resort.
You would
because I could have done anything I wanted to do.
You would never be able to make the money as a lawyer that you're making.
Yeah, and that's another thing people don't understand is people are like, oh, what are you going to do in 10 years? I'm like, be retired. So the money is part of it, but it's the fact that I'm choosing to do something that's so stigmatized, and I'm so open about it, and I don't give a that a lot of people, it enrages people. And they constantly are like telling me, oh, they're like waiting for the other shoe to drop. I get so many messages like, well, okay, fine, but you're going to be lonely forever. Nobody's ever going to like you. In 10 years, you're going to be working at Taco Bell. And it's like, okay, it's like a revenge fantasy they have because they're unhappy with their life.
I'll bet you get marriage proposals all the time.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, marriage isn't even something I'm really into.
No,
but like,
I mean,
yeah,
guys go crazy.
They're like, and then it turns into, well, no, self-respecting man would marry you because someone under will comment like, I'll marry her. And he's like, no man who really respects himself, no high value man. Like, you hear this in like the new Andrew Tate manosphere world, high value, low value. No high value man will, your kids, your future kids. I'm like, you don't really, if you cared about kids, go volunteer and, use your resources on kids that are alive that actually need you today. Don't worry about my hypothetical children in 15 plus years.